one of the final stepping stones of the Kentucky Derby, the Bluegrass Stakes, presented by Kawasaki. Let's take a look now at the race conditions here. The purse is a big one, $500,000. The distance, 1.1 miles, 1 furlong shorter than the Kentucky Derby. The track is fast today, and the temperature is 80 degrees. The wind, well, it just feels pleasant out of the southwest. Good afternoon. I'm Jim McKay, and you know, you can feel it in the springtime air. You can hear it in the conversations all over Lexington. It's only 3 weeks until Derby Day, and that means it's time for the Bluegrass Stakes. And as we watch today's race, we'll also be aware that Derby favorite Arazi is quietly preparing in France. Now remember, he had his only prep race this week over there in France, and you'll see that later on today's program. But here at Keeneland, we have a talented field of 11 trying to earn their way to the Kentucky Derby. Now, the favorites, until a matter of minutes ago, according to the bettors, appeared to be two. Both of them ran this winter in Florida. Pistols and Roses' best credential is a win in the Flamingo at Hialeah in early January. He was third in the Florida Derby behind Technology and Dance Floor. Dance Floor, well, he is the favorite here, but let's take a look at these odds because, as you'll see at the bottom of the odds board, Pistols and Roses is not where we would expect him to be. Number 1, Dash for Dottie, is 15-1. Ecstatic Ride, 35-1. Conte di Savoia at 50-1. Just Like Perfect is 60-1. Tank's number 11-1. Now some support there. Dance Floor is the 8-5 favorite. Line in the Sand, 8-1. Been Along, just 7-1. First time around 2 turns for him. St. Valado at 7-1. Colony Light at 4-1. A lot of support there, but look at this. Pistols and Roses, expected to be second choice, is now 10-1 under Jacinto Vasquez. However, Dance Floor is the favorite and a very legitimate one. Still, he's gotten a good deal of extra attention, not only because of his talent, but because of his owners who insist that he is too legit to quit. It's a strange combination, really, the spectacular flamboyance of rap music and the quiet beauty and elegance of a thoroughbred. But it seems to work for Hammer and the rest of the Burrell family. He, with his father and brothers, is having a great time, and they're not afraid to show it.
We go to the races to be ourselves, and being ourselves is keeping up noise, enjoying ourselves, pulling for our horses.
The Burrells were on a real high in the winter when Dance Floor won the Fountain of Youth Stakes at Gulfstream Park by an easy 4.5 lengths. But disappointment awaited them in the Florida Derby. The colt flattened out in the stretch and was beaten by Technology. He had bled during the race, so today he'll use the diuretic Lasix. Trainer Lucas is confident.
We've worked him on Lasix a couple times since the race. He looks like his confidence is back, and he's a good-minded horse. He's a very professional racehorse, so I look for him to run very well.
Well, now there is Jeff Lucas. He's the son of the trainer Wayne Lucas and is actually saddling Dance Floor for his dad here today. There was a shocking incident involving Jeff just last Sunday in Los Angeles when he was the target of an apparent drive-by shooting on a freeway. 5 shots were fired at the car driven by Jeff. Some of them hit the car, but most fortunately, he was not injured. Of course, he's with us here today. And now, let's see. Going to have a look at another chap. Here he is. There is the world-famous Hammer, who flew in this morning for the race. He's sure come a long way since his days as a bat boy for the Oakland A's. Right now, though, it's time to receive some wisdom from the man who will call the race for us again today. Here's Dave Johnson with a look at the contenders.
Many thought Pistols and Roses was just a good winter horse, but now that spring has blossomed, so has the former claimer. No surprise to his 32-year-old trainer, George Gianos, with a runner in the Bluegrass for the first time. In the Florida Derby, Pistols and Roses was actually closing fastest of all and missed being second by only a head. Colony Light, a son of Kentucky Derby winner Pleasant Colony, found himself in a Derby and in trouble 3 weeks ago. It was the Louisiana Derby, and his failure to keep a straight course in the stretch resulted in his disqualification, which moved Line in the Sand into the winner's circle, but it didn't move jockey Julie Crone off the horse. Trainer Rusty Arnold will not change riders in midstream. The most intriguing colt is the lightly raced Been Along, who's been to the post only 4 times. His mother, Begum, is a blind daughter of Alydar. Now, in Been Along's last start, he collared the unbeaten DJ Cat in the Swale Stakes. This gameness and speed signal explosive potential. But today's Bluegrass is a 1/4 mile longer than the Swale. Been Along has never raced farther than 7 furlongs. And his trainer, Carl Napsker, and Craig Perrette, the jockey, know how to turn that into roses. They did it 2 years ago with Unbridled.
We did put a good mile in the horse here over this racetrack, basically to get it on his mind and get him thinking 2 turns instead of 1 turn and waiting on Craig. That's the key to this race, to going 2 turns, waiting on Craig.
He's set up right now to where if he's going to get it, he'll do it now. And hopefully he's got enough talent to roll with them kind of horses, that class of horses.
Craig, by the way, has had 5 mounts today and 4 winners. There's the starting gate. Short run to the first turn here at a 1 1/8 race. That could be why they're betting Pistols and Roses long.
I look at it as a championship event. We're racing on 3 or 4 different fronts all year long. With the Breeders' Cup, it allows us to bring all of those horses that have done well in all of those divisions in on one day, and it shows up as a very powerful entry. And that's what we try to do. We try to look good on the day when the whole world's watching.
Right now, save 25% on Goodyear Eagle ST and Goodyear Invicta GL. That's right, 25% on 2 of our best-selling all-season radials. It's another reason we say the best tires in the world and in your neighborhood have Goodyear written all over them.
Growing things and making your place look great is supposed to be fun. Your helpful hardware folks at Ace are almost right next door. Always ready to help with great values on just what you need. So do it once and do it right. Another reason Ace is a place for you.
Aqua Rush, salty spray, power thrust, turn Kawasaki, it's where I wanna be.
Introducing the hottest 2-seater watercraft on the water, the Kawasaki Jet Ski Super Sport. With a sleek V hull and a powerful 750 engine, the Super Sport is where you wanna be.
Kawasaki, let the good times roll. Kawasaki.
All right, let's have a final look at the odds. Dash for Dottie at 17 to 1, 35 to 1 on Ecstatic Ride. Conte di Savoia is now at 60 to 1. So is Just Like Perfect. Tank's number at 12 to 1, 3 to 2 now on Favorite Dance Floor. Line in the Stand at 7 to 1. Been Along 8 to 1. So is St. Baledo. Colony Light at 9 to 2. Second choice in the betting. And Pistols and Roses still being held at a rather long 9 to 1. Time now to bring in Charles E. Canty. And Charles, I know after the race, Dave Johnson will tell us what was the key to the race. How about telling us what is the key to the race before it begins?
Well, pace is the question, Jim. Who will show speed and how much? Now, Danceville would really like to control this race, but Jacinto Vasquez way outside on Pistols and Roses in post 11. He'll come gunning out of there and won't let it be an easy lead for the dance floor. Also, Benelong is going to show some pace, but we've got some late bloomers who are also late runners. We'll look at a few of those. St. Baledo is a beautifully bred, lately raced colt. He lost all chance when knocked sideways in the Jim Beam last time out. Another horse who's had some bad luck is Conte di Savoia. He's been getting better as the races get longer, but he has traffic problems. Yet another unlucky horse has been Tank's Number. He finished 4th in the Florida Derby despite some interference. Then there's Line in the Sand. He had good luck for a change. He was awarded the Louisiana Derby on the disqualification of Colony Light. His owner, Will Farish, is a personal friend of President George Bush's, hence the name, Line in the Sand.
Line
from
in
the
the
Gulf
Sand,
War.
as in the Gulf War. Okay, let's have a word now. Well, first of all, the inevitable. Who are you going to pick?
Colony Light. He's a horse who's improved so much, and he's really in a position today to pull an upset.
Even though he hasn't been around 2 turns, I think I'm going to go with Been Along today. Okay. We'll see what happens, however. Let's see if we can have a word now with Hammer. Hammer, do you hear me? This is Jim McKay.
Yeah, how you doing, Jim? I can hear you real well.
I'm just doing fine. I see you're dressed very conservatively today. Does that have anything to do with the fact that Keeneland's considered one of the most conservative places in racing?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, if my horse wins, the jacket may come off. The jacket may come off, the tie might get loose, and I might have to do my salute. I know it's a very conservative place, but this is just the way I dress today.
Well, you look terrific, Hammer. And do you ever stop to think of all the things that have happened to you since you were a bat boy for the Oakland A's?
Well, yes, I do, but I don't want anybody to pinch me because I might wake up.
Okay. Hope you have your reservations for Louisville and the Derby, but we'll see what happens today.
All righty, take care.
Good luck to you and your family.
Thank you.
Now, time to go upstairs to the man who called the race, Dave Johnson.
And they're coming to the gate. 1 mile and an eighth. And there's the track record set in '87 by Good Command and Round Table. That Good Grass horse set the stakes record here on the dirt, 1:47 2/5. Dash for Dottie is the first to load. Likes the distance. Has won 3 races at 1 mile and an eighth. Trained by Bill Donovan, who had lost Code a few years ago. Eddie Delahousie riding for the first time today. Pink blinkers on that one. The great colt here is a Static Ride. Substitute jockey Ronald Ardoin in the irons. Conte di Savoia, trained by Leroy Jolly, who's won the Kentucky Derby twice. Here's Just Like Perfect, the St. Louis, Missouri connection, and Alan Stacy aboard. Tank's Number with Jorge Velazquez, who won this race with Alidar by some 13 lengths. And there is Hammer's horse, Dance Floor. Bred in New Jersey, 6-5, Chris Antley, who won last year with Strike the Gold aboard. Here's Line in the Sand with Pat Day. Been Along. Craig Perrette looking for his 5th winner of the afternoon. He began riding quarter horses at age 10. Here's St. Beledo, who had trouble in the Jim Beam, as Charles C. told you. Jim McKnight aboard, native of Ireland, who now lives in Louisville. Colony Light is at 9-2. The second choice on the board with Julie Crone. And the other great colt in the race is Pistols and Roses. And Jacinto Vasquez rides for the first time today. Field of 11, they all carry 121 pounds, all looking for that ticket for the trip to Louisville and the Kentucky Derby just 3 weeks from today. Been Along a bit anxious, as is St. Beledo. Now they're all set, and they're off. Been Along was off a step slowly. Dance Floor from the middle of the pack takes the early lead. St. Beledo on the outside into second position. Far outside, Pistols and Roses gunned early, and far off the rail, Pistols and Roses is right there along with St. Beledo as they round the clubhouse turn. Jacinto Vasquez sends Pistols and Roses to the lead by a length and a half. St. Beledo is second by a length and 3/4. Then comes the favorite, Dance Floor, racing third. On the outside, Colony Light, a Static Ride moves through along the inside. Then comes Tank's Number between horses. A gap of 2, and at the rail, Conte de Savoia. Followed by Just Like Perfect on the outside. Then it's a gap of 5 lengths back to Line in the Sand. After that, it's Been Along, and at the back of the pack, Dash for Dottie is 11th, some 16 lengths from the leaders. And right now, it's Pistols and Roses on the inside, in front by a head after reaching the half in 47-1. And St. Beledo, the horse that had the trouble in the Jim Beam, is now charging up on the outside, and those 2 races a team, with Dance Floor just behind in third and ready to make his move. A Static Ride is 4th along the inside by 3/4 of a length. Then on the outside, Tank's Number drops back a bit as Conte de Savoia moves through along the inside as they approach the quarter pole. Pistols and Roses leads it by half a length. That's St. Beledo between horses. Now Dance Floor scoots to the outside for the drive. A Static Ride looks for some racing room between horses. And Conte de Savoia at the rail, and down the stretch they come. Pistols and Roses draws clear a length and a half. That's between horses, a Static Ride. Conte de Savoia with a late charge along the inside, coming to the wire. Pistols and Roses on the outside. I believe holds on to win it by a head. Conte de Savoia, the fast closing second horse with Shane Sellers, but it is a photo finish. Pistols and Roses starting from the far outside at 8-1. Gun to the lead at the first turn, and in a photo with the long shot Conte de Savoia with Shane Sellers at the wire. The final time 1:49.
Well, quite a finish in that one, Charles. Conte de Savoia charging for the finish. The charge of Leroy Jolly, one of the real long shots in the field. But Pistols and Roses, even though bet way down by the bettors, has proved himself, it appears, this afternoon. Very unofficial, and there is a photo for win. It looked certainly like Pistols and Roses, as Dave Johnson called it. He won the Flamingo Stakes. Since then, he's had a couple of thirds. He was moved up to second in the Fountain of Youth, then was third in the Florida Derby. And now it appears he has won the Bluegrass Stakes and some $325,000 and would be on his way to Louisville. Here's
Conte
Conte
di Savoia was making a big, bold move coming from off the pace. He's a colt who wanted the distance, and he had a lot of traffic trouble in the stretch, as has been his story. And there is Dance Floor. The question surrounding Dance Floor has always been, how far did he want to go? He's never won beyond a mile and a 16th. He looked as though the distance may have been a factor here today. He loomed up bold and had nothing left for the stretch.
Okay. The photo has been examined, by the way. As you take a look at the fractions, 1:49, that's a pretty darn good time. Unofficially still, but they have posted Pistols and Roses as the winner. Conte di Savoia, second. Ecstatic Ride, another long shot, third. And Dance Floor, the favorite, fourth. Still unofficial in the 1992 running of the Bluegrass Stakes, a win for Jacinto Vasquez, who won this race in 1988 aboard Granacas. He also won the Kentucky Derby twice. We'll be right back.
River Run, Shimmering Bay, Crystal Lake, Aqua Sea, Kawasaki, it's where I wanna be.
If where you want to be is where the action is, hop on a Kawasaki watercraft. Either the jet ski sport cruiser or the tandem sport will give you all the excitement the two of you can handle.
Kawasaki, let the good times roll. Kawasaki, no better way to face the day.
The morning belongs to Speed Stick. It's 110% protection against wetness and odor that lasts all day. Start the morning with Speed Stick, the wide stick, for powerful 24-hour protection.
No better way to face the day. No better way to face the day.
Speed Stick, 110% protection.
I'm sorry, we're out. Dear Thompson's, when the store ran out of Thompson's water seal, we reluctantly finished our deck with another brand.
What a mistake. The Thompson side beat it up in the rain.
Really bad.
The other side, nothing.
Notice the one on the left?
Even the clerk agreed. Nothing works like Thompson's.
That's it.
Sincerely, Blair and Becky Jones.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Now from Thompson's, 2 8-inch Stanley screwdrivers, a $2.99 value free with any Thompson's purchase.
Service to more cities across the Atlantic than any other U.S. airline, Delta now makes it easier than ever for the people of America to get to know the people of Europe.
Buongiorno.
Bonjour.
See ya.
Guten Tag. Grüezi.
Delta, we love to fly and show.
Здравствуйте. Thanks for joining us, Susan. What's new tonight?
Nothing, honey.
Can't you make up something, darling?
Kellogg's Nut and Honey Crunch is new with a deliciously sweet new recipe.
Anything new?
Nothing, honey.
Anything changed?
Nothing, honey.
Anything different?
Nothing, honey.
See you tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
It's a whole new Nut and Honey Crunch, and you'll love the nutty sweet taste.
He just won't open up. Watch this. What's new, Pete?
Nothing, honey.
Like a brick wall.
New Kellogg's Nut and Honey Crunch.
Nature's masterpiece. In over 100 years, only 11 thoroughbreds have won the Triple Crown. From Sir Barton to the great rivalry between Affirmed and Aladar. Their compelling story, written and narrated by Jim McKay, is chronicled in a collector's home video. The Jewels of the Triple Crown. Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR for this historic treasury filled with rare and exclusive footage of these legendary champions. Only $19.98 plus $3 shipping.
It is official. Pistols and Roses has won the Bluegrass Stakes, paying $19.80, $8.60, and $5.40. The long shot, Conte di Savoia, paying $48.60 and $18. Another long shot, Ecstatic Ride, paying $12.20. And the exacta, that means you bet those two horses, the first two in that order, $1,578. Now let's go down the winner's circle and Charzy with Jacinto Vasquez.
Well, I've got Jacinto Vasquez, who was aboard Pistols and Roses, and the crowd pretty much ignored the chances of your colt because of that outside post. And that was a very bold ride. You just had to break and go for it, didn't you?
Well, I don't have much choice. If I want to be left in a turn, I say I might as well get out of here and let him catch me if they can. But I don't want to be chasing anybody or losing any ground in the first turn.
About the finish, how did he feel, and will the extra eighth of a mile be a problem, do you think? Nobody can judge the Derby better than someone who's run it twice.
Well, my horse was pulling sail up, and he looked like he don't like to be in a lead that long, and every time Richie got into him, he changed lead, but he'd take off. He never give up. If he had to go another 16, he could have hold that horse up, the second horse.
Congratulations. We'll be seeing you Kentucky Derby time very soon, very soon. We also have the losing rider here, Chris Antley. Chris, aboard dance floor, what happened? Did he have any excuse?
Well, you know, today was just another disappointing outcome after the race. You know, my main concern was, again, going to the first turn and getting a good position. And he broke so sharp, I was smiling already and real happy, and got him laying third right off those two speed horses. And I kind of crept to him around the turn and hope I had a lot of horse under me, and he didn't kind of, you know, not respond like last time, and it happened again. And, you know, I have no explanation for it. I had a real good trip, and he just didn't fire for me today.
Not his day, but thank you, Chris. And right now we'll go to Jim McKay.
Okay, we're here with the owner, Carl Willis, with the trainer, George Giannos. Have you ever saddled a horse at Keeneland before?
No, it's the first one.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
You are on, I take, to Louisville in the Kentucky Derby.
That's the plan.
That is the plan. The usual, we got to look at him in the morning.
It was on contingency that everything goes well and he runs a good race, but that was the plan. If he does well, that we would go to Kentucky.
Okay, Mr. Willis, congratulations to you. I know you got into this sport in an informal way, answering an ad in the newspaper and all that, but congratulations, you're on your way to the Kentucky Derby. Now let's go up to Dave Johnson and the key to the race.
The key to the race was overcoming the obstacle of the worst post position. And out of the gate, on the extreme outside, there is the eventual winner, Pistols and Roses. And just as you heard Jacinto Vasquez say, he didn't want to get trapped behind anybody, and he didn't want to chase anybody. But what he did was he got to the front with an extraordinarily good first quarter mile, and then slowed the pace down. The half mile in a lazy 47-1. Then as they straighten away in the stretch, watch as Jacinto Vasquez switches the stick from the left to the right, and then back to the right. This gets his horse rolling again on the inside. Here comes the three-horse Conte de Savoio with Shane Sellers. And this was courageous for this horse to just keep on going after being on the front end, taking it wire to wire almost. It's Pistols and Roses, the gray colt, winning the 68th running of the Bluegrass. Jim?
Thank you very much, Dave. Here is the order of finish. Pistols and Roses, Conte de Savoia, Ecstatic Ride, then Dance Floor, the first four, followed by St. Valedo, Tank's Number, Been Along, Line in the Sand, Dash for Dottie, Colony Light, the second choice in the betting, and Just Like Perfect. Well, you know, make any mention of this year's Kentucky Derby, and Arazi becomes the topic of discussion. Now, he has charmed the media like no horse in the last decade, as much, I think, for his victory in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last fall, as for the unusual road he's taking to Kentucky. Arazi is owned by the American aircraft manufacturer Alan Paulson and Sheikh Mohammed Al Maktoum of Dubai. He is trained by the Frenchman Francois Boutin. He was ridden this week in Europe by Steve Cawthon, the American who rides in Europe, the last jockey to win the Triple Crown riding a firm. But Pat Valenzuela is Paulson's contract rider in the States and will ride him in the Kentucky Derby. Boutin now bypassed the traditional Derby prep races to train Arazi in France and to race him there only once before the Derby. That happened this week, and Jack Whitaker was there.
This is the Hippodrome de Saint-Cloud, a race course of understated charm high above the city of Paris. It has been chosen as the venue for the 1992 debut of Arazi, and we now have a brand new Kentucky Derby prep race. It's called the Prix Omnium Deuxième, a mile on the turf around one turn. It seemed like any other day at this French racetrack, except for the undercurrent feeling by the racegoers that they just might be wagering on the best horse in the world. Arazi, wearing number one, broke cleanly.
Parti tout de suite avec Codeball à l'extérieur qui a été parmi les plus rapides, qui accompagné de Wakiko qui à la corde se rapproche progressivement. Carson B à son tour. Codecorde vient à son tour avec River Majesty qui galope en quatrième position tout près. Super Mec et Arazi viennent ensuite. Voloris et Starbeam pour l'instant ferment la marche. Un peu le toit s'est étiré après 300 mètres de course. Carson B qui est Codecorde qui a un très léger avantage. Précédent Quateball qui est de peu près lui à la même hauteur que River Majesty et qui est suivi de Arazi avec Super Mec, alors que tout à fait à l'extérieur maintenant vient Voloris. Alors qu'ils abordent le dernier tournant, c'est sous le commandement de Carson.
As they turned left, he was in 4th place, but Cawthon had him running wide in order to get more work.
Par River Majesty avec Arazi qui galope tout à fait en devant. Super Mec est environ en 6e position. Derrière encore à 2-3 longueurs, Voloris ferme la marche avec Starbeam. Alors qu'ils sortent du tournant de la Fouilleuse, Carson B, Akiko toujours qui a l'avantage. Quateball qui galope toujours en 3e position. Arazi qui est dans son sillage. River Majestic 5e, côté côte. Super Mec qui vient ensuite devant Voloris et Starbeam. Ils abordent la ligne de l'arrivée. Sous le commandement toujours de Akiko qui est tout à fait en devant. Carson B qui est à peu près à la même hauteur. Tous les deux devant encore Arazi qui se rapproche progressivement devant. Voloris qui fait de même.
Then suddenly came the famous Arazi gear shift. He moved past everybody, flinging his forelegs out and going easily.
Maintenant vient de prendre une tranche longueur sur Super Mec qui est dans son sillage, alors que River Majesty et Voloris viennent de coder corde à la distance. Arazi qui
He could have won by a football field, but Cawthon hand-rode him quietly, never extending him over the soft St. Bluegrass. And Arazi was home first by 5 lengths. For Alan Paulson, the result brought a sigh of relief that the first test of Arazi's 3-year-old campaign had been passed. When some of the shouting had died down, Steve Cawthon had this to say.
I've ridden a lot of good horses, but this is the first horse that I would start to maybe compare with a farm. He's the best horse I've ever ridden.
And so Arazi passes the first test of his 3-year-old campaign in fine fashion. The feeling is strong here that despite just one race before the Kentucky Derby, that Francois Boutin will have a fit and ready Arazi in the paddock in Louisville on that first Saturday in May.
Well, I wonder how you say, and down the stretch they come in French. One of the questions surrounding Arazi, though, is what road he will follow if he wins the Kentucky Derby. His owners and trainers may pass up, believe it or not, a chance to win the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge and that $5 million to run in England's fabled Epsom Derby on June the 3rd. Now, they told us this week that they will make that decision, but only after the Kentucky Derby. So Arazi could become the 12th horse to win the Triple Crown. But he also could be the first to win both the Kentucky Derby and the Epsom Derby. But first, of course, he has to win our Derby. And when we return, we'll join Frank Gifford for more of the Jeep Superstars.